Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Chris Kidd, he's a regular on The Price of Business. He's been doing this for a long time. He is the co-host on the program, and when it comes to our sports business and money matters issues, and always loves the guests that he brings on. Today is no exception. In fact, this is an exceptionally cool guest because A Christmas Story is one of my all-time favorite movies. Not just Christmas movies, but movies. It was so well done. I watched it every year ago. I saw it a few days ago, in fact, like I do every Christmas tradition, just before Christmas. Zack Ward, you remember him. He was that bully, raccoon hat-wearing bully from A Christmas Story. When I was growing up, the bully that reminded me of you is named Bubba East. And so that you are our Bubba East in our neighborhood. But, man, I tell you, it's interesting to see what you've done and parlayed with your life, and I can't wait to get into the story. Chris, I want you to real quickly tell a little bit about yourself. Chris Kidd's website is chriskidd.com, and then go ahead and further introduce the guest and start with your first question. Go right ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm a financial coach, and basically my mission in life is to help people really just relieve financial stress and get a better handle on things, whether it be money management, getting out of debt, or learning to build wealth, learning to handle their investments, things like that, and really just to protect people from, pitfalls, whether they're somebody I'm dealing with who doesn't make a lot of money or somebody like a pro athlete or entertainer or somebody who does make a lot of money and they don't want that to just disappear. So my whole goal is basically just to help with some of those issues and provide guidance and protection. And obviously you already said my guest today is Zack Ward. He's got the, big time famous with the Christmas Story. That's one of my favorites as well. Me and my boys watch that every year. And he's also, the thing that jumped out at me is I got an email recently from his PR team, and they were talking about one of his new ventures, or newish. It's been going for a couple of years, I believe, but he's the CEO of Global Sports Financial Exchange, and they have a company called ASM. We'll let him tell us about that, but it really parlays well into what I do, and I thought it was very interesting. So good to have you on, Zack, and tell us a little bit about Global Sports Financial Exchange.
Well, first off, good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for welcoming me to your show. I appreciate it. Nice to meet both of you. Yeah, I'm over here in Los Angeles. You guys are in Texas, so you're a couple hours ahead of me, are you? So I apologize if I've got morning voice. I'm just getting over a cold, as we do when you're traveling around the holiday season. I'm sure the rest of you have been kissing babies, shaking hands, just like I have with a lot of airports. Yeah, first off, Christmas Story, amazing thing to be part of. I did it when I was 13 years old. I had no idea it was going to turn into the mega giant Americana icon that it has. It has been this incredible honor in my life. The film was actually entered into the Library of Congress as one of the most important films, pieces of cinema done in the last 100 years. So that's incredible. And then I found out that it was put into the Smithsonian. So I believe I'm technically considered a national treasure. I just find that hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. And let's be honest, I was 13 years old when I did it. The people who deserve the credit are really the director, the writer, the DP, the editor, the sound. I just got to go along for the ride. I'm glad I got to contribute a little bit. But and by the way, Bubba East is such a great name. I mean, so the name Scott Farkas is S-T-U-T, not Scott. And Scott is a Gaelic terminology which basically means cow diarrhea. So if you call someone a Scott, you're calling him a turd, for lack of a better name. And then Bubba East is awesome. It sounds like something, I'm going to steal that and write it in the script. And then one of my bullies when I was a kid was named Samaj Bajokas. And again, he ended up turning out to be a wonderful fellow when he grew up. He actually became a chief of a fire department and ran into burning buildings to save people. But as a kid, he and I knocked heads a little bit. But my name is Zacharias Balthazar Ward. His name was Samaj Bajokas. This sounds like a ridiculous battle royale, you know. And I love the fact
There you
that
go.
East was yours. So, All Sports Market. Global Sports Financial Exchange is the West Coast division licensee of All Sports Market. All Sports Market is the first and only stock market of sports teams in the world. In the history of mankind, sports and money have only come together in one way, and that's gambling. And as you are well aware, gambling has some issues, one or two. And one of them is that you can lose everything you own. That's a problem. Another one is that it acts like a cancer on the integrity of sports. So that's why Pete Rose got kicked out of the Hall of Fame. That's why every single franchise, NFL, baseball, football, hockey, every single one of them says that you are not allowed to gamble. Or you get kicked out of the franchise. You get kicked out off your team. You're not allowed to play anymore. Why? Because it's gambling. And they don't want that to affect the way you play the game. Are we agreed?
Yeah.
Is that a fact?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a fact. So, but people love playing this mental puzzle. I don't know what fans of what you guys are fans of, but most people with sports, it's a legacy. Your parents, your mom, your dad, they had a favorite team, they had a favorite player, and you became an extension of that wealth of experience. And you shared that. That became a family legacy that you shared with your parents, loving that team, loving that game as you grew up. And it became an extension of what your family was. If we've noticed, people are a little passionate about sports. So what's really exciting about All Sports Market is that for the first time in the history of mankind, you can interact sports and money without it being gambling. So to clarify it very simply, you're buying shares in the teams. You're not betting. You're investing in the team. It's a performance-based derivative. So that pays off dividend and works exactly like the stock exchange. It is structured exactly like the New York Stock Exchange. You can short, you can buy, you can trade, you can sell. And you can sit there and just hold your shares. So Kevin, give me your favorite team.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Detroit Tigers. Of course, I also love the Houston Astros.
Sure. All right. Okay, let's go with the Tigers and the Astros. So each one of you is going to bet $100 on the Tigers and the Astros, and I am going to invest. I'm going to buy $100 worth of shares in the Tigers and the Astros. And like life happens, they lose. So what do you guys have now? You bet $100 on the Tigers and the Astros, and what do you have now that they lost?
Zero.
What do you have? You have nothing.
Nada.
You have a receipt. You have a receipt saying, I'm a dumb ass. And I still have 100 shares. My shares don't go away. And now let me get this straight. The Tigers and the Astros, they play more than one game a year, right?
Right.
Right.
Right. If it's baseball, they can play up to 130 games. Football, well, that's about 40, somewhere around there. So the next time they play, they win. Oh, they win, and I get paid out dividends on my shares. Well, that's awesome. Oh, and even between games, something's going on. What's going on? Well, they got a new manager. They got a new player. One of their players tweeted out bully prevention, like these a whole bunch of athletes just did recently to support that kid who's getting bullied. And so that creates a whole bunch of awareness. Somebody came out like with a rap album or a new shoe with Adidas or Nike. Great. And that inspired a whole bunch of interest. And so a whole bunch
Zach,
of
you're going to have to forgive me.
Shares have gone. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, this is the most, in 25 years of radio, this is one of the most bizarre interviews I've done because all of a sudden it stopped being my show somewhere along the way. Zack Ward, you're an awesome guest. A lot of fun, but I only have about a minute left. I don't know where all the time went. Chris Kidd, Chris, you did great. Your guests are always awesome, but this was so much fun. chriskidd, KIDD.com. Hey, Zach, real quick, the best website for getting more information, would that be allsportsmarket.com?
Yeah, allsportsmarket.com, and go to Total Zack Ward on Twitter and say howdy. And I'm sorry for kidnapping your show. I apologize. I just love this thing so much. It's amazing.
Oh, hey, we're going to get you back on. Don't worry. I'm going to be, Chris and I will co-host actually that one. We'll have to figure out how to constrain you a little bit. But this has been different, and it's been a lot of fun. And, I got a great one that will actually impress my kids. I'll actually send this interview to them. Thanks so much for being with us. Do have to wrap it up, though. We do have more coming up after the break, so stay tuned for that. You are listening to The Price of Business. We are nationally syndicated on the BizTalk Radio Network.